3i Atlas just did a slingshot maneuver and now has no movement vector. I'm going to show you the core data as well in this video. But it's just about to come out the back of Jupiter, and I'm predicting it's going to be doing this. It's going to look like it's staying stationary and getting brighter, because I believe it is now heading earthwards to arrive here 2nd of August 2027. Watch the space very closely. Looking now at orbital patterns around the Jupiter situation, where 3i Atlas is going into an area near Jupiter. Now, a Hill radius marcation around an orbit of a planet is the region around a celestial body where the gravity dominates, allowing it to hold onto satellites. So this is how you attain an orbit. Okay, there's Jupiter. That is the area of the Hill radius. So an object to be in orbit around Jupiter needs to be in that position at a specific speed to be optimal. What are the chances that this 3i Atlas joins in exactly into this orbit? Well, scientists say it is coincidence. This object is going to be in March of this year entering that orbit. Nobody's saying anything about why it's doing it, other than they think they're going to maybe study Jupiter if it's alien. No ways. There's something more important. We got a planet called Earth where people live. This is coming to address a crisis with humanity that's happening in 2026. And I think it's going to use a slingshot maneuver to exit. Now, when that happens, the media is going to go very quiet on this one, and astronomers are going to be attacked for mentioning that they think 3i Atlas is heading towards us. That is going to be under attack and probably covered up, but we will watch it very closely. Because it will take enough time as it slows down to reach that area to come back to Earth, coincidentally the amount of time it's going to take to get to Earth is somewhere around that date, which matches the Janana alien message that I cover in this video. They left a message saying they're going to return 2nd of August 2027. This is something I've made published and made known as much as I can since 2019. 3i Atlas performs a Christmas display with crucial message to humanity. I made a prediction some weeks ago that the position of 3i Atlas is more than a coincidence in this position, which is an ancient Egyptian teaching of the Hall of Records beneath the Sphinx, representing Leo. And I said it would make like some sort of Christmas Day message effect, maybe resemble a Christmas tree. Well, would you believe it? It happened in such a way that it was almost impossible to follow, because there are 70 fake YouTube channels carrying information on 3i Atlas, all showing chaos, fake pictures. The subject is swamped for some hidden reason, because most of those channels are done with the same style, same technique, and you can go and check it yourself. Type in 3i Atlas and look for a refined search for On the Day. You'll see they're making videos every single day, 70 of them. Those who built the pyramids arrive in 2027, is covered in this video. I've shown you what the object displayed, according to astronomers, is this first contact with the Messiah. You know, look at that. And of course, 3i Atlas makes a V-shaped ejector blast. It's making a V-shaped blast that scientists now have proven, and it changes angle. So go figure that. So let's have a look at it. Let's look at the results. So here was the best viewing period between December the 19th round about up to January the 1st. So that is the best window, and you can see it was very boring up until that point. It put on an incredible display with brighter colors, changing shape, went gold, and then stayed more goldish looking, and then up through January to where we are today. This is not a coincidence, and I've shown the comet right here. I'm calling it a comet, it's just by habit. It's not a comet. The space object, deep space object, and this is what it looked like, but you did not see the images. I think the subject was attacked and astronomers had their either threats or removed the images because there were no Christmas Day images. Okay, so there is Leo, the constellation. You see a little bit of detail up there? And this is a real comet in my opinion. And this is another one of these deep space objects that is not a comet. We'll find out in time. But there's an interesting thing here because there's a whole bunch. It's a cluster. Here is the correlation with Regulus on December the 25th. When I saw that, I knew exactly that to time a position in peak viewing where it passes Regulus, it's going to send a message if it is tied to the ancients who built the pyramids and the Sphinx. This is the name of the object here. It's probably a comet, we're not sure yet. C2025, and guess what? It's fragmented, or it's either a whole bunch of objects. Probably fragmenting comet in this case, and I'll tell you why I think it is a fragmenting comet, because I've been looking for this for ages. People that have followed my work know about the Inca star map, because on the Inca star map, the golden tablet, it shows this. And I've said, this is the ancestors with the Orion belt speaking to the Inca chief. This is the story of Earth, South America, little X that marks the spot, the ground, the sky, as above, so below. The cosmic dragon goes right round the temple of Cusco in Coricancha. So this gold tablet represents what was once in the Coricancha temple, and it shows you leaving this world with firmament, same again, land, firmament, the land and then firmament. And then the star map, Orion's belt, followed through Taurus, the V shape of Taurus. And it's the visitors speaking to the people of Earth, giving their message. This was first contact in the ancient times. The visitors returning again, and I think they're showing that they're returning again when the fragmenting comet is in the sky. And that is just a theory, but you'll see it in the main video and the follow-on video. That is what I want changed. That is what I saw in my near-death experience with the cosmic tree, that we all just fail. That's how humanity is going. And I asked if I could have a chance to bring forward proof of the ancestors' connection to us that are going to come and visit in 2027 and try and get us to change our ways and save the planet and save ourselves. Stop the World War III super weapons, which are really suicidal because everybody's going to die after that, even the 1%. The world is going to be so overheated and radiated, they'll be stuck in their bunkers like tombs. I have a storage locker that also needs rescuing. I can't do this without patrons, so please consider being a part of something that could change the world and save all of us. Some recommended references I'm going to show in my links. This scholar of astronomy is showing core information, photographic detail of the core, yet they're not allowed to speak about it. You can see of these expression and frustration, still having to call it a comet, but he has shown different details of the core and just saying that it's the core and that's about all. Here's another one. Look at those funny objects. Okay. ESA Science has observed the core detail. They've used a different process. Look at that shape. Looks like a star. Coincidence to what they showed in the other detail just now? Looking at 3 separate astronomers' images to try and get to the core image, I want to see with computer techniques to extract the detail that is just coming out, just visible. It looked like 5 dots with a big dot in the middle. I thought it was 5 at first, but it's not. It's actually 6. So let's have a close look at it. So I'm going to go through Ray's astrophotography. He had at least 7 frames where you could see there were definitely 5 out there, but there's a 6th one hiding in here. So let's have a close-up look at that and rebuild what I believe was in this shape that made that light. That's what I think it was. It's quite likely an object that creates gravity for these Oumuamua-sized big shard objects that we've seen in all our ancient history, and they're spinning. He measured the actual spin of this nucleus as well. And it makes sense because, you can have two leaving at the same time without this big space station having to stop to shut down gravity. Two could leave at a time. As long as they're opposite each other, it stays in equilibrium. So this makes a lot of sense. Coincidentally, the shape of the most natural form of the 6 hexagonal geometry of a snowflake, that is part of the golden mean. Coincidence that annoys me, it's not a coincidence, that science fiction used this great object that flies through space for space travelers to come to travel to the Earth in the, I'm not going to even mention the title of a science fiction film where they used the word Atlantis as well in its first landing. Coincidence? That's what this 3i Atlas looks like in reality, spinning like the snowflake. Now, this picture here is definitely AI generated, but it was instigated by people that shows something happened in the Vatican before his death, where this Pope was trying to teach about the acceptance of the dragon. So what we saw was a lot of dragon-type designs being positioned around the Vatican. You can see all the designs with the dragon in this video. I want to mention the chance that in 2027, on the 2nd of August, there might be more than just our visitors coming. There might be an interaction, like we had in 1561, where the star visitors had an interaction with really destructive people that were probably trying to get to the reserves of gold and metal, which I show in this video. And there was a skirmish that went on, and then some crashed. Will this interaction, fighting over protecting our Earth, happen with our star ancestor visitors trying to guide us? Will they have to deal with bad aliens? We hope that does not happen, but if it does, that's why they're all fighting against each other. One is trying to protect Earth, and one is trying to have dominion over all the Earth's resources. Let's look at some more information that has been released. This is this is when the jets, they call them, at a right angle. You can see two different measuring systems, and you were getting that. And now, more recently, the Israeli professor, what's his name, Avi Loeb, has shown how symmetrical they are, because there's one big one, which I think is the top part of it, which is creating the anti-tail, and then these two others here below it in the opposite direction, symmetrical. This is not what comets do. It's particles that are being sent out are heavy particles. They're not even dust particles. They're quite heavy that the sun's solar wind does not affect it. So here we have the nucleus. Sorry to show you, it's not a comet, but it is something very important to humanity. Making this V-shaped particle ejector beneath it, and it's spinning, so it's making a cone like a Christmas tree with a star on top of it. Now this happened in Christmas Day, and this is what I think it would have looked like if we had all the big telescopes being honest with us and showing us what they saw. This is exactly what they would have seen. It mimicked the Christmas tree with a star on top of it, like that. It's telling us a message of what the Christmas tree meant in history. They are representative of that ancient knowledge, and I'll show you in this video. So this is how the comet looked as it came out from behind the sun more recently, leading up from November up to December. It was very consistent, bluish hue, and then it did that as it came into perfect viewing. So astronomers were showing that something happened. There's the main big jet, and the other, this V-shaped jets, okay? And then it stopped, like it turned it off while it was putting on a display for us a few days later, leading up to Christmas. Here's another one by this astronomer, and you can see it's just the solar wind now starting to bend The residual white was shut down without putting out an ejector. And then it did this just before Christmas. I think that 2 days before Christmas it was this red color with all these lines. Astronomers were saying it could be lens, some kind of lens diffraction or reflection. No, because these are the ejector V-shaped patterns that it's throwing out one side and one big one on the other side. And it started going green. That's the last we heard of it. And then Christmas Day, all the astronomers that I know that have seen comments by other astronomers say it went green. It's just like the other one that was red, but it was more green and more pronunciation on these lines. But the world was kept quiet and kept in silence. And it was doing that. In my opinion, that is the message of 3i Atlas, showing that it's tied in to the origins of the Christmas tree. Once you know what the origins of the Christmas tree represent, it's our Genesis, human Genesis, beneath the Sphinx, the Hall of Records, regardless. I'm going to show all that in this video. And then it went yellow afterwards, so that was the last part of the display. So there we have the trajectory, boring build-up, pretty much looking like a comet. Started putting on the display. I've made them slightly enhanced. Did that, then that, then that. Just before Christmas Day, boom! There's where its position was. It puts on the show, in my opinion, representing the Christmas tree with a 5-pointed star on top of it. Went yellow, and then became more consistent as it moves away towards Jupiter. So that, in my opinion, was specially put on for us. Great colors, great changes to show the build-up for that event right there, Christmas Day, where Leo represents the cosmic lion serpent dragon conduit, and that's what this big wormhole opening device in the middle of it can open. It's coming to do that, to create another Nuremberg event. And see what that means. Coincidence? It'll be argued. The origin of the word Magi, the three Magi, talking about the three kings that follow. Here's the old expression, the three Magi follow a star from the Orient. The origin of that word, Magi, it's interpreting celestial phenomena, stars. Okay, let's look at that part of it. Ancient Sumerian that went into Zoroastrianism. It's a magician or priest. They're personifying stars as magicians, so to speak. These three kings are personifications of three stars from the Orient. Next clue. This is huge. The Orient original meaning is the direction where the sun rises in the east. Of course, it's all been three kings that follow from the east. Pretty much accurate. The east is part of it. But the name origin, Orient, still carries its secret to this day. It means to rise, to align. Orient, orientate. Orion. There is no coincidence here that this name is tied into the orientation of Orion. Three astronomical bodies align, orient to find the Bethlehem star, the Christ star, the origin star, the reason for the Christmas tree celebration that's been forgotten, to put a star and a beam of light down to the earth from the origin star of all humanity. So, recapping on the star map, Sirius, Orion, Aldebaran, Pleiades. Here is the X that marks the spot, the Genesis star. And of course the biblical reference, can you bind the greatness of the Pleiades with the band of Orion? Where is the band? There it is. There's my... 2005 I was starting to promote this idea that the cross of the churches was of the sky, that Christ lost teachings. He was teaching about the way to find his origin star, which is also, according to the Judas Codex, all of humanity's origin star, because he said Judas was also a descendant of this, as per all people on the earth. And when he comes again in the book of Revelations, he holds 7 stars. His face shines like the sun. 7 stars, the sun halo. This is the star map. This is exactly it. He's showing that personification as Orion man. Orient, Orion. This is Orion man personifying the teaching of the cross. And he's coming with the living light. And we need to understand the importance of this living light, cosmic serpent dragon, the creation. This is the hand of God, literally. When the Christ was crucified, it all happened around here. His judgment was here. This is the Ritmeyer Archaeological Department's rebuild of what this area looked like, of Temple Mount. And in my opinion, and Martin Mulligov, who made the finding with the Ritmeyer Archaeological Department, this is most likely the leg of the bull, representing, as in ancient Egypt, the Pleiades. This is the X that marks the spot, which is on the hill of Caiaphas Palace. This was the Caiaphas Palace. Look at its design. Okay. The Christ's hearing was said to be held at the Caiaphas Palace. That's historical consensus. Christ was the son of Mary. Mary is not even a Hebrew name. There's a bit of a clue here, what's going on. Born in Bethlehem, does that make him a Canaanite, Palestinian, or even a Judean? I'm sure the Judean part of it is probably later history, trying to make it more Hebrew. But in my opinion, since Bethlehem is in Palestine, and the people spoke Aramaic, as for all the people of this area, these were people that are quite separate and, in my opinion, more associated with the people that still live in Bethlehem today. Same descendants. Their ancestors were all these people that spoke Aramaic. Now, it's the Jewish High Council that insisted he was an impostor. This was where his hearing was, and these Jewish High Council members insisted he was an impostor and he should be sentenced to death. Now, this is my opinion here, in my honest opinion. Death on a cross was a warning that punishment be unleashed on all who support the Sky Cross teaching, the lost teachings of the Christ that I'm trying to bring forward again. And this teaching is of his and of humanity's sacred origins. Just remember that. The man that saved the people from ancient Egypt being enslaved, you know who that was? This is the area where they came from, the area of Memphis. And this city is right by Abusir, and there is the Sun Temple obelisk, almost identical to what you've just seen there. Coincidence? Leg of the bull? Pleiades? Representation for the star map. They built their own in ancient Israel. Recapping on the grand secret of the pyramids, which I've shown in the following video, there's something I have to address right now. I left out a very important piece of the puzzle. I've been thinking of how to do it, but there's no easier way than just shoot and explain exactly what it is. We were discussing in my previous video and in the following video the amplifier. In the Dindara chambers, they show the plasma tube. Yep, scientists suggested it and scholars don't want to believe it, but it's some sort of plasma tube with a gas in it that can show an electrical effect as a plasma visible. So it makes it visible to the eye. And here are two versions of initiation. The amplified plasma, you can see it's connected to the amplifier, and then it's connected to the ground inside the Great Pyramid. This is inside the Great Pyramid. It won't work outside of the Great Pyramid. And here the creation is holding itself, and the initiate is trying to call on the light, the living light himself. Now let's look at a little bit more here. Okay, you can read this in your own time. It's in the second part of the following video. They get their rank and wear it after they have passed this test, in my opinion. But it's this amplifier. What is it? I think it's a sarcophagus. A stone granite closed box with the connection going into it. It's a box within a box in the Great Pyramid to make it come alive. In the Great Pyramid, there's where the sarcophagus originally was. It's not there anymore. It's been neutralized by putting it to the side. It's out of the resonant field. This is a resonant shape. It fits the length and the width when it's this way. And here is when it works in the old times with the cosmic living light. I don't think it would even work today if they even put it in that position, because the cosmic serpent dragon has not active on our Earth, and I'll explain that in the main part of this video. Here's another mural from Dendara. You can see it's a queen, perhaps, with the two children, and look above their heads here. Here we have a burst of plasma. Okay, this is again using the sarcophagus booster for them to try call onto the cosmic light, the living light. And in my opinion, I believe it's that because of my near-death experience. A pillar of light with rings around it. This is what the jet column represents. Okay, and this is in the Great Pyramid. So I believe this is the jet column representing a pillar of light at the center of the universe, or near the top of our galaxy. This is where the living light resides, and it's this kind of thing being active in the Great Pyramid. And there's my near-death experience. Is it God? Is the reference to one of my videos. Try and explain what I experienced here. Cosmic serpent from this pillar of light with rings around it. People interacting with the forehead. You see the forehead part there? That's no surprise, is it? Because in the picture, their foreheads are touching the tube, and that is where they wear the rank that they achieved it from the all-seeing eye. That is the doorway to the soul. So it's happening in the Great Pyramid. I believe that these are cosmic plasma bursts compared to my near-death experience. I'm a witness of this living light, and this is my dedication, my mission to bring this forward as a flame keeper. And I'm wanting the public to join me as a flame keeper and be a part of my Patreon event you'll see at the end of the video. I want to mention one of the best and most knowledgeable theologians on the planet that study all religions, Professor Elaine Pagels. This is her here. You would have seen her on Ancient Aliens, on National Geographic, when they did documentaries on the Da Vinci Code. She was talking about Gnosis. There's a lot of hidden ancient evidence that is repeating itself over and over and over that say the cosmic serpent dragon is not evil. She actually says that cosmic serpent with the tree of life has Christ consciousness. In her own words, you can see the link in description where she speaks about the cosmic serpent dragon is sacred. And Elaine, I see your little grail there. Yep, I got one right behind me here. Same thing, we know the grail means a lot more than just the sacred bloodline origins. It's celebrating our star origins of the sacred bloodline. The Vatican knows a lot about this cosmic serpent lion dragon, and you'll see it in depictions where it's got an expression of fear and upset. Something has made it look unhappy. And all the depictions I found in ancient illuminated manuscripts show the cosmic serpent dragon with church-type studies where there's something hidden. Now this is one from the Vatican. There you can see the Vatican emblem, the two keys, secrets about our origins, the gold key and the silver key, three crowns, the three magi that follow. In my opinion, this is Orion's belt, three stars of Orion as three kings, right? These are depictions of cherubim, star beings, angels, and of course the wreath represents the cosmic conduit. See how it's decorated with my Christmas tree. I'll show you in this video. It's got three little sun decorations on it as well. But the dragon seems to be, it's got a tile here that's in between that one and that one, where it merges into what's behind it, which I believe is a sun star. These plasma ribbons come from the sun, like we had in the Nuremberg event, which I'm going to look at in this video. Now, this is from the Vatican. What about the rest of the Vatican depictions? Here's one of the Christmas tree. Same wreath, cosmic portal, a star with a beam of light tapering from it. In my opinion, it's showing that the Christmas tree is representing this, and the cosmic portal is here. It's on the Vatican floor. It was actually paid for perhaps by the Medici family. They had ties to it. We know it's a secret society, very powerful organization. The fleur-de-lis is a representation here for creation, in my opinion, for the portal itself, shown like rising and setting. It's just showing it separate to this tree, because this tree is representing the star and the beam of light that comes down from it, the origin of the Christmas tree. We need to see a lot more on that. So looking back at the 3-eye atlas window, that, in my opinion, is what the 3-eye atlas mimicked. Exactly, a star with a conical shape of light beneath it. Now, getting back to what happened in the Vatican with the previous Pope, Pope Francis celebrated the dragon at one particular event, showing respect to other people's understanding of creation. And there in the background you can see this X marks the spot, Orion, 3 king crowns. Anyway, enough of that. But it was showing respect to other belief in creation and the dragon. And that was not really covered much in the media. And of course some of the decorations in the Vatican showing the importance of the cosmic dragon in history, with the exit marks the spot, Orion showing the way to the exit marks the spot, which is below it. It's like a globus cruciger. The audience hall, the Vatican City. Now there's been a lot of claim that it's built in the shape of a serpent head, and at first I thought, oh, rubbish. But have a closer look now. That's what it looks like from the side view. It's right next to the basilica. And on top of the basilica you'll have St. Peter showing the way down the causeway to what the meaning of the key looks like. Now there's 2 keys put over each other, but it's made to look like one key for a very special reason. Because that's where the statues are, pointing down in this direction, follow through the cross of Orion. There's the obelisk, like the male anatomy of Orion's belt, through to the star castle fortress of San Castel. What? Is that now the Key of Solomon? Is this the secret of the Key of Solomon code? The cross, and then it's shown more detailed as the X-Chiro, all built into a giant key when viewed from space. Now here is the audience hall, with buildings that coincidentally look like the rest of it. What are the odds? Inside the building, the Pope is giving a presentation, and you must see what's behind him. Does that look like a serpent head? Are these pillars coincidentally made to look like part of the serpent opening a mouth, because that's the portal opening? Coincidence? Perhaps not. There he is giving his lecture. Now look in the background. They say this is an artist's depiction of something that's happening in the future with a terrible nuclear event, and it's the birthing of the Christ, or not the birthing, the Christ coming out as a savior at this time. Now we need to look quite closely at this, because this looks like the tree of life in most people's opinion, and he's merging out of the portal of the tree of life, which seems to be wrapped around with it. But look closely at the face. Is that a coincidence? That looks like a serpent with the mouth open. It's supposed to be his hair. Why did they do it like that? Not a coincidence. Looking at Rome from above, there's Castel San Angelo, the Basilica. This is the area of the 7 hills of Rome. And my earliest work, I said, well, they chose this area because it's 7 hills representing the 7 Pleiades, so they would build the star fortress next to it. So let's have a look at that. This is really exactly the shape of that hill area. So now I'm going into far more detail than my simplified sketches. This is made by Rome-wise. You can get this map. And it's that shape. And coincidentally, let's compare now to the Pleiades. That's mind-blowing. The actual pattern of the nebula fits even better with these hills. But of course these are natural hills, so it was quite inspiring for the first people of Rome to see the shape of these mounds, to build the first part of the most sacred part of Rome right here. And that's how it works as a star map. The cross of the churches follow through Orion's belt to the exit marks the spot. It's exactly that star map. Now, is that all a coincidence? I don't think so. Now, Pope Leo, you've named yourself after the cosmic serpent lion dragon, as you'll see in this video. Are you going to be the one that brings it forward in August in 2027 and let the world know what it really means and why you've got to decorate it throughout the whole of the Vatican as a sacred object connected to the origins of Christianity? Please. These are the words of Pope Leo. He said he embraces humanity that seeks the truth with a sincere heart and holds high the torch of hope. That's pretty much what I'm doing with my Flamekeeper movement, the torch of hope, seeking the truth with a sincere heart. Everything I show is measurable. Everything that I've shown is sacred and something that has been kept from humanity, because the 1% don't like everybody being equal and sacred, and you'll see why in the main video of my 2-hour plus documentary. So my question is, are you going to keep to your words, Your Eminence? As a Catholic person myself, born in that faith, okay, I'm a spiritualist now. I believe in the creation without any religion associated with it other than the tree of life. There are all these depictions that I'll look at in the following video of the cosmic serpent dragon that looks tortured and tormented. That needs to be addressed. This is the video that I made 2 weeks before Christmas, and my prediction that would create some sort of message as it passes underneath canopus of Leo. I explain now the Sphinx connection in ancient Egypt and the origin of the Christmas tree. Here it begins. 3i Atlas has set up a precise Christmas Day correlation. This is where 3i Atlas will pass on Christmas Day. That is no coincidence. It ties in with an ancient Egyptian secret. It will probably recreate 3 Egyptian human origin records: the Yule tree and the Sphinx Leo message of the Hall of Records beneath its chest. I'll show you all that in this video. But it's maybe to give humanity a message of the star visitor's identity and how they tie in with our origins on Earth. If it performs some sort of Christmas tree message on 25th of December, I reckon it's going to do a lot more than turning green, which it's doing right now. It's also making this beam of light turn earthwards. And I think we might even see activity below it, is to mimic what we decorate Christmas trees with. That's really a long shot. If that really happened, would people still believe that it's just a comet? Well, let's wait and see. But if it happens, we can also expect it to brighten on the day. If a message was intentional, then a Jupiter slingshot earthwards. That is what Jupiter's for. I'll show you in this video. So this is the view from Earth, Christmas Day, position of 3i Atlas, and it seems to be making its tail direct more towards Earth. We're not sure if that's going to really happen. That's also a long shot because this tail was going away from the Sun on its way to Jupiter. Okay, pretty much like what comets do, but this is no comet. You'll see in the video. And I think it's going to brighten on the day. Something like that. All astronomers, please have your telescopes ready and film, I think, a video, because things might happen. And why do I think it represents the Sphinx secret? Because the Sphinx captures the sun's path. It's the only position on the pyramid layout field where the ecliptic is concerned, is by that which represents Leo. And it explains this is the records of our sun, hence building the records of the whole of the legend of the Hall of Records beneath the Sphinx. The UFO landing on the back of it. Yep, I'm going to show you all the evidence in the ancient papyrus. So what I'm saying is 25th of December, this message, it's showing with the Christmas tree effect. The origins of the Christmas tree is intentional for why it came across this area when it is closest to the Earth. It's to put on a display for us to identify who they are, where they come from. And this is a match. 2027, returning star visitors, 3i Atlas, perform a Sphinx Christmas tree message. I think they're planning all of this for 2027 when it uses Jupiter to slingshot, which I'll show you. The first evidence of the Christmas tree, in my opinion, is the historical Masonic record, the first degree tracing board, they call it. It shows 3 suns in a triangle pointing down. 7 stars of the Pleiades. By the way, this is all my interpretation. Masons will disagree. And there's a blazing star with 7 points of light, because it's representing the importance of the area of the Pleiades. A hand from the heavens with a grail. What does the grail mean? You'll see in my work, it's a star map showing the celebration of the bloodline of the people that came from these stars. That's the chalice, and Orion's belt is in this beam, and there's 3 symbols for Orion's belt. Anyway, that's all in the extended video. The second line of evidence is ancient Egyptian from the Senma tomb. Orion man shows the way to the leg of the bull, follow the 2 stars, Atlas and Pleione of the Pleiades, in my opinion. And it's the star of Ra, seen in the night. So it's not our sun. This is a circumpunct, and in this beam of light, point of origin, where all the gods are shown on the earth, on terra firma. That's the Senma tomb. And then the last bit of evidence is the Key of Solomon parchment that shows Orion, that little star with the beam of light coming down from it. It even shows 4 exoplanets, just like the Stonehenge star map. And then there's a cipher puzzle that actually assembles the 7 stars of the Pleiades. That's all in the extended video. So that's what we have. And it's probably going to brighten over Christmas Day. In my opinion, if that happens, we should be 100% conclusive. This is an alien visitation event that's planning to come to Earth for a very important reason while we are in crisis. Representing the Christmas tree. The origins of the Yule tree, you'll see in this video. I showed the star and the tree that chose this conical shaped tree to celebrate origins of their star ancestors. And there is a position of the sun. I just want to show quickly that it's the Leo constellation of this lion that is pouncing upon the sun, capturing it, so to speak, to represent the Hall of Records, which is below that monument that represents Leo. And I'm going to show you the papyrus on that right there. We'll go into great detail with it just now. There's a picture of the Senma tomb record. I'm going to show you in up close. The secret of the pyramids. Now, I've been really tiptoeing around this subject because there's some earth energy that is special inside the pyramids. That's what they're designed for. And we can't run away from the fact now that there is a tie to the legend of the cosmic dragon serpent lion. So the energy that has been on record that takes place inside the pyramids is that secret of the living light. There are chambers that are designed to maximize the effect of this cosmic energy. And I'm not tiptoeing around this subject matter anymore. You've got to be open to the legend of the dragon, how it fits this whole story, and 3-eye Atlas. But what really happened to the living light? Because there's nothing really happening in the pyramids. You can do tests in them. It's as if that earth energy has faded, and I believe it has since the time of the Great Flood. And it's for a very simple reason. If this is the living light of creation that connects through every single soul, and there are millions and billions of souls suffering, the dragon, cosmic light, creation energy will share it and feel it. So it would not want to come to our planet if there's mass suffering. And this is, I think, the problem with our planet. Not only are we destroying the planet, but we're destroying each other. Our 1% is so greedy for profits. We are the collateral damage. So I think the ancients are returning to stop us destroying ourselves and to stop us destroying the planet. So the cosmic plasma legend of the dragon is what I link to after this video. You can see at the end I go into the legend of this sacred energy that is there on the earth and has been here before and been visiting in times of crisis to try and help humanity. And each time our 1% monarchy systems have taken the information for themselves and then altered it. This is the video I linked to at the end of this video that takes the story of the living cosmic light that's inside the pyramids and the story of 3-eye Atlas further. So just click the link at the end of the video. We have the cosmic lion dragon right here, okay, representing the Sphinx. This is no ordinary lion. The Sphinx in Egypt is the cosmic lion dragon that Leo constellation represents, and the Hall of Records beneath it. That is very important to understand. And how it captures the sun is, here lies the records of our sun star in comparison to its position with all the 50 pyramids of Egypt, showing the ancestor star position, showing the legend of Chernobyl, the secret of the Sphinx. Okay, that's in this video. Now, here are the four grand secrets of the Sphinx. The Sphinx speaks. You have seen me from above, as my creators have seen me. You have seen I watch my reflection as the cosmic lion of Leo. You will therefore know now that I am placed with Orion's belt to solve my mystery. Will you recognize all the pyramids represent important stars? Now solve the X marks the spot star map for the origin of your ancestors. You can see the message of my form as Leo captures the sun under its chest. In doing so, I reveal the Hall of Records of this sun system that lies beneath my chest. Here is the secret of the energy field within the pyramids. I dwell within. I am the force. Leo represents no ordinary lion. I represent the cosmic serpent lion dragon. Your ancestors traversed the heavens with me, the portal, the living light of creation. Riding the cosmic lion was thus chosen for the first raised landing platform in Egypt. And this is all building up to this, 2027. The messianic message, is it the Christ returning? Is it Maitreya returning, as in the Buddhist origins records? Or is it Esa, as the people of Islam believe? I think it is one who represents all humanity. And he's explaining, he's holding 7 stars in his right hand, and with him present is the living light of the cosmos, that which creates all time, space, matter, and life. The 7 dragons are 7 plasma ribbons that connect to the Pleiades, and he gives his message with 7 important things we can do to save humanity and our planet. Well, let's see how that goes. 2nd of August, 2027, on the day of the great eclipse, right over the old Atlantis ruins that I've written in my Atlantis book. It had an alien message. NASA made an announcement recently that they're going to show the images of 3i Atlas collected from the very close-up cameras from Mars. And what they showed proves exactly what this man here is saying. Here is the opening lines. I'm linking to this at the end of my video. Look in description, this exact time mark, you just click the link and it'll start at this very moment, where the NASA spokesperson has an encoded secret to all the 1%ers. And he says he wants to remind everybody where we are and who is where in this play. This is like one big play, a theatrical event, a cover-up. There is the code right there. And that leads me to my statement that I must begin with. Do not trust any main media famous speakers in this subject matter of UFOs and paranormal. That is a very, very big key point, because they are groomed by the 1% and they are following a protocol. So the big 1% owned media follows strict protocols. The disclosure movement is completely fake. There is no disclosure of anything until 2027. And when the visitors are seen in the sky, the 1%ers and the main media are going to call it evil aliens. My claim of 2027 is going to be called a lie by the fake, let's call them media people that are supposed to be giving disclosure. People that use names like weaponized. I mean, these are all military terms. Don't trust these people. Just trust what you're seeing by, especially now, astronomers showing their images, hobby astronomers that are going online and showing the new pictures that are going to be taking place over December. The 1% will then claim evil aliens when all this starts unfolding in 2027. So my claim of 2027 cannot be called a lie because everything I show is measurable. You must remember that. And if you just take one thing away from our videos for the 2027 event, just remember this. For the 1%, the powerful people that are controlling our planet, this is an invasion of planet Earth in their opinion. For the 99%, this is a messianic event to save us. And of course, my star map theory of all my work, I'll link to this in the list of my videos to play in order of what happens first. In the description, you click the link to the my videos, my playlist. First, it's the Mars star map showing the Pleiades stars, found it at Tikal, found it at Stonehenge, and it helped me find the place of Atlantis, the Pleiades Islands, off the coast of Spain, to find the circular canals. And of course, there's a human code built in to all these ancient sites. That's all linked to as you follow from this video. And there's the site that I claim is the Lost Circular Canals. You can just see the old river tracings where it once made circles, and it's after the flood, the debris that washed over there obviously distorted everything. But while I was surveying the area on the eve of 2012, this gigantic 3-mile wide geoglyph appeared with a message. We're going to look at that as well in this video. And it showed, it looked like a swastika, decoded as Orion. The field was chosen as a grid layout plan where it left this message matching our first computer code. So we can decode what those two dots mean in that context, but that is the edge of the tape paper. And it decodes 2027. I'm going to show how I measure it using the original decoding sheet made by Siemens, where it shows a V-type object, explains it. They've made this all work out so you can interpret it in context with this V-shaped craft. And of course the swastika I prove origins. Why they showed that is the Orion star map showing the way to the ancestor star, which is also our star of our origins. I'm going to go through that in the extended video. Here's the message. That's the book that I've produced showing how to interpret this star map and the alien message. It's the rising and setting of Orion. You can see just like this, 2 positions on the field. Okay, now the 25th of December story with 3i Atlas. I need to go through some very important basics. I show in my work how the star of Ra, which is shown the leg of the bull, Orion man, and from the star of the sunlight star, this is the serpent, the star of the ancestors, a beam of light comes down to earth where all the gods of the ancients are shown. I'm going to touch on that as well, and of course there's a Freemason version of it, the blazing star, the Grail, beam of light, a ladder from that star, Pleiades is there, and of course there's also the Key of Solomon cipher that shows exactly the same star, beam of light, Orion, position, how to find it, all in the following video. Now we need to add in the Sphinx secret to the Egyptian story to get the full context of what we might see on December the 25th in the sky. The origin of the Christmas tree, what it really means. There's the San Martin picture where Orion is showing the way to the leg of the bull, the sunlight stars, beam of light coming down from it, and the narrator teaching about the origin of all the star visitors here on terra firma, that it reflects that. Orion's belt, leg of the bull, star of the ancestors, and this beam of light. That's the origin, in my opinion, of the Christmas tree. Now, the Stargate, the teaching of what really happens inside the pyramids. I'll cover that on the log-on video. You can, on the link video. The teaching of the initiate, how they learn how to call on the cosmic dragon in these chambers. There's multiple chambers for different reasons, and this earth energy of the cosmic dragon works through these chambers. I've shown a dolmen here because this is the reason they built all those dolmens around the world. This is basically a small version of what we have inside here. I mean, look at these multiple layers of granite slabs. Okay, this is a small version of using that earth energy to call upon the dragon. But these would have failed when the cosmic dragon energy ended after the Great Flood. And I show how let's go back the star shafts from that king's chamber actually map out all the stars of Lower Egypt, sorry, all the stars that match the pyramids of Lower Egypt. 50 pyramids matching those stars. There I show it, all the stars and the pyramids. But now what I've added in here is the Sphinx and Giza, because the Sphinx is what is used to decode the meaning of the pyramids. Once you understand what the Sphinx, looking at itself in the sky, as many authors have said before me, is the key in unlocking what the pyramids mean. So let's just take that further, because here's the Christmas tree effect from the Sun Temple, Sun-like star, which we're going to look at. Let's look at the Sphinx story quickly, just to recap. What I found in my first book, The Hidden Records, this angle measured between the 3 pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx, very simple little angle, and the stars of Orion's belt, from that same angle through to Leo, across the Milky Way. What it's showing is it's looking at itself. That's all very well, but it's proving that the Sphinx is Leo when you look at it in context of the pyramids, because it's saying, you've discovered now that I represent the stars of Leo, interpret all the pyramids as important stars. And that's the message of the Sphinx. That's the first message of the Sphinx. So measuring that angle match to prove the Sphinx is Leo, the stars of Leo. This is the key in unlocking what the pyramids mean. That the pyramids map out very important stars. And then we've got the Sphinx with the flat back and the remains of a door, showing in my work how this was once a landing place for first visitors. From the Jed Ankhsharaf papyrus, which I link to after this video, dome, 3 legs, radiating light. It comes from the womb of Nut in the heavens, a place where the most important part of the birthing of the sun star of Ra. This explains the utterance, and you follow where the toes touch one horizon, the leg of the bull is here, Pleiades, that it comes from that direction. But I'm just adding in one more little piece here to follow it from my videos, the wormhole. This is the cosmic dragon part of it. It's a living light that it traverses down. The Sphinx is not just any lion, it is a lion dragon. So we need to update the interpretation as we make sense of what's going to happen on Christmas Day. And that's how I show what it once looked like and how the visitors landed on it. There was a door to, guess what's underneath? Yep, the records of our sun. This is the positioning of our sun passing through Leo. So Leo is like the lion capturing our sun. This is a very simple way for the ancients to leave another message. The second message of the Sphinx is, here lie the records of our solar system beneath the Sphinx. Right? The Hall of Records, right there. That is the second message of the Sphinx. But it's not any lion, remember. We should really update what kind of lion it is. It's a cosmic dragon lion, also the legend of the Chenobis. This is a living cosmic energy. So the stars of Leo in this case are representing the cosmic lion, the way that the ancients traversed the heavens. And here you can see some of the depictions of what landed on the back of the Sphinx. Is the cosmic serpent analogy within this cross-section through the ship that flies, comes from the heavens. But it's Sphinx, cosmic serpent, Sphinx. It's all one energy, depiction of the living light. So these are the 3 most common ancient symbols for the living light. Cosmic serpent, cosmic dragon, cosmic lion. They're all the same thing. They're all this living light that can be used for portals.
What has been missed is what the winged disk of the gods really looked like.
Let's begin, firstly with a simplified version of the Egyptian Genesis papyrus. The down-pointing triangulation of 3 sun stars next to the Pleiades was seen as the womb of the star goddess Nut. Legend claims the earth was also personified, like Nut, but as a green god, called Geb. His male anatomy, on the horizon shares the stars of Orion's belt, as he fertilizes Nut. This is where Nut births the sacred sun star, Sol 1 primary. The Holy Grail legend, you will soon see, is based on this history where the chalice represents the celestial womb of 3 suns, and the blade, or stem, represents the male anatomy of Orion's belt, in celestial union.
It is from this special birthed sun that our ancestors set out in their celestial ship. Traveling down what looked like a beam of light, their craft landed on a raised platform, safe from lions in the area. Now let's piece together the components of the real papyrus record in tune with the narrative sequence. Nut is personified as the cosmos full of stars. Her fingers and toes touch the earth, from horizon to horizon. From her womb the utterance identifies a sun star, where 3 vertical stars in a row of Jeb align and establish all life from this sun star. The leg of the bull, the place of the gods, touches her toes to narrate the story of the gods landing on the flat back of the Sphinx. It is the Sphinx of Giza, because it has the dream stellar crown above its head, and the waldak headdress of the Osiris statue that was in front of it.
The celestial ship, radiating multicolored light, landed on the Sphinx landing platform. The image next to it now explains the celestial ship, with a double wormhole, as it flies with its own terra firma line, sketched in above the ground. Behold, the real Jed Ankhshiraf papyrus, from the Cairo Museum. This interpretation of ancient records might sound far-fetched, if it was not backed up by other ancient records. The thing is, the landing on the Sphinx has multiple records. The Sphinx was so sacred in the human Genesis legend, the ancient Egyptians wanted to show both sides, in one image but had great difficulty in doing so.
Here is how the ancients came to agree how the Sphinx should be on record. A double Sphinx was the solution. No wonder Egyptologists became skeptics. There are many king tomb records of Zep Tepi, as they show the ship landing and going inside the Sphinx. Some show a cross-section through the flying disc as well, and how the cosmic serpent conduit is what it traveled on and through. Some records celebrated the ship radiating light, with a bright feathered banner on a pole, to carry in processions. It was not an actual fan to call a king through. It was placed impaled on models of the Sphinx, that also had a chamber of knowledge shown beneath it. Here is a close-up analysis of the ceremonial banner. It has Horus as its occupant, with his sun star as a crown. The Sphinx has a flat back, and what looks like a door filled in with concrete, that is on record as possibly the oldest concrete record on Earth. Let's recreate Egypt's first time when the Sphinx was built.
The entire area of over 40 feet of valuable limestone no doubt became the source of blocks needed to build the pyramids of Giza. In its earliest epoch, it was functional, as a raised celestial ship landing platform, out of reach of roaming lion. It had a door to the legendary underground Hall of Records. But the green rainy period would end after the effect of the Earth cataclysm we are about to explore. The spreading deserts soon encroached the Nile. Soon, the visits by the advanced ancestors ended.
Khufu the reigning king wanted the damaged Sphinx to have his face. Then more drought cycles would follow, and the pyramids became nothing more than a source of blocks for temple building. One day, Tutmosis, while sleeping under the hollow Sphinx head, heard a voice. The voice was most likely the star visitors, worried the weight of the wet sand would cause the Hall of Records to collapse. The star visitors possibly removed sacred objects and left. The terrible cyclic droughts returned, the sand burying all the sacred sites beyond management. The Sphinx saw the end of a great empire. Thousands of years followed until we see it as it is today.
In 2005, authors, Wayne Herschel and Birgit Lederer, explored the COMET tomb. Inside, hidden in plain sight, is the definitive sealing record of the gods founding Egypt. Horus Soker as Orion Man shows the way to the leg of the bull star cluster, which then shows the way to the tiny sun star in the night sky. Goddess Circuit stretches a cord, representing the wormhole conduit to our solar system, and seen once again, with a scorpion. Wayne suddenly realized Scorpio might be the view of where our local sun is seen when viewed from the Pleiades. It is true. We need one more clue to decode all the secret symbols here. The UK's CERN Abbas giant in Dorset is Orion Man. But unlike the encoded secret rod, or his belt showing the way, it is his male anatomy.
Now the mural comes full circle. A line joins the phallus symbol with Orion Man. The mystery is decoded. The dot and circle symbol origin is revealed. The sun symbol denotes any sun with a planet, either alien or not. Wayne Herschel has decoded many ancient symbols for suns, but never ever, not for one moment, did he realize he would include this star map connection with the origins of Christmas itself. The conical beam of light from the sun star that we are about to see repeat in multiple cases might be one of the lost teachings of the Christ, actually celebrating human origins from a star that is also his star. The conical beam of light from our origin star, Wayne believes, is the Christmas tree tradition, celebrating our human origins from a sun-star system. Long before the Christ celebrated December the 25th, the ancient Romans celebrated this unconquered sun on this day, called Sol Invictus. How was this knowledge lost or oppressed?
What we should be asking now is, was the Christ, the very same Orion Man great teacher, since he revived the real cross of the Church's teaching? Hungarian researcher Martin Molnar-Gaub proves Wayne's theory with Orion and the Pleiades are revived Christian teachings. The Latin banner has it written in many accounts and in stone. It shows the globus cruciga and 7 stars. The cross remains steady in the sky as the earth rotates. And the gold orb and cross secret meaning is now decoded. Historical monarchy leaders burned books with this ancient lost knowledge. Orion's 3 belt stars was also a Christian encoded story for the 3 kings, or Magi, to personify the belt stars, to find the Star of Bethlehem. Old Bibles showing Orion or the Solar Trinity were burned. Some Bibles from 1892 showing Orion still exist today.
The Sphinx of Egypt. What is the mystery of the Sphinx? It's got this in really elongated, long body for its size of its head. I think the head was once a lion. A lot of authors have said this before. I've put a model of an actual size lion and an actual size person in relation to the size of the Sphinx, just to give you an idea of the size of it. It has this flat back. Why is the back of it flat? It once had a Osiris statue, a man with green skin. He has the Alpha Omega flail and I can't think of the right name of it, but anyway, it has the Egyptian theme of the Alpha and the Omega, the dream steel. These are things that identify the Sphinx. There's one more piece of the puzzle that's missing, and that is what I believe landed on the back of it. If you come around this side, you'll see at the back of the head of the Sphinx is the remains of what looks like a door. A lot of people have missed that. Now, what would land on the back of that Sphinx? This is the interesting bit. That is what I believe landed on the back of the Sphinx. Celestial ship. There's a papyrus that shows this whole story, the light radiating, the dome, the base, and look at the strange three legs, one forward and these curved ones curving away from it when you look at it from the front view. Now, if you look at the papyrus, there it is. This whole story is about Nut, the sacred Milky Way, personified as the sacred feminine, her womb, the sacred feminine, the V. There is the story of the beginning of humanity, literally from the star of Ra, the circumpunct, life being given, follow the three dots. That might just be a symbol, or origin of that symbol being Orion's belt aligning with it, just like in the Grail story. But from Nut, where she touches down on the horizon, there's the flat land where the Sphinx is on. From the leg of the bull for the Pleiades, that is the symbol for the Pleiades constellation. So it's from this leg of the bull, which is this area. There is the story of the ship of Ra landing on the back of the Sphinx. How do I know it's the Sphinx? There's the wild dog of Osiris. We saw that in the statue just now. There is the dream steel. That is the title for the Sphinx, as wearing it as a crown. And of course we have the strange flat object with a dome of white area here, and then colored light being radiated from it with those weird shaped legs that you saw in the model, a tripod. And of course that is the entrance to the back of the Sphinx. That is, I believe, the genesis of Egypt. This was the first touchdown area before the pyramids were built. They built that landing pad, raised because of that, lions. The area would have been totally inundated with lions. It was a green time, and the safe way of landing is like on a raised flat platform where they can go in and go underground. So there's a Christmas tree effect. Okay, maybe it does that. We'll wait and see. 25th of December. So it came into our solar system along that path. Okay, the message. There was some sort of a gamma ray burst on almost the same day that this all happened when they discovered this anomaly. There must be some sort of a tie there. Maybe it's wormhole opening has this incredible gamma ray burst. Well, that we're not sure about yet. But I think while it was passing Mars, a whole lot of drones and UFOs are probably on their way to arrive here to monitor our terrible crisis that's developing, and they are probably more concerned trying to stop us from using nuclear weapons which will destroy everyone. There is no winner in nuclear warfare, and this is the biggest part of the crisis, and I think they will be using these drones to look at how they can try and disarm perhaps our suicide weapons, because that's what they are. It's a math suicide by the 1% for the 99%, because they've all got nice little bunkers to hide in. So I don't think there's any logic there, because they haven't done the math. What happens when they come out? That if there are star visitors, do you think that would allow them to walk the Earth again? Never. The Maven satellite, by the way, is missing. That was on the Mars event, and that's probably why they didn't have any photographs. That whole satellite, in my opinion, was probably collected up by them and being studied. And they came from the direction of Scorpio. Now there's a very important bit of reasoning here, because I'll show you 4 records of the ancients showing that they came from this they travel towards this direction to come to our sun system, because there are a lot of sun-like stars in the direction. When you travel from the Pleiades and look in this direction, there are a lot of sun-like stars in this area, and we were just one of them. So in my opinion, those star visitors, because the 3i Atlas originates from this area, these are other colonization events that happened after our Earth that probably didn't have a disaster that neutralized its civilization back to hunters and gatherers. Remember, we had a grand beginning, then the flood, then we were hunters and gatherers again. It's because we had such a terrible impact event on the Earth that caused the floods, that caused freezing temperatures for years, a whole generation literally of intelligence and equipment and even buildings lost. So the people literally crawled out of the mud with their clothes on their backs. But if they came from this area, these are probably the people that colonized our solar system, went on to colonize these other sun-like systems, and now they're coming back with a sense of responsibility, because they pretty much abandoned us when we had our great cataclysm. They couldn't come and do anything more. By the time they came, perhaps the hunters and gatherers looked at them as gods, and they realized it was already too late. But here is the Egyptian records of showing how they went to Scorpio from the stargates. I've got an explanation to show how they interpret two stargates shut, one active, which is this one, how they travel towards Scorpio, the god's direction of travel to come to us was in the area of Scorpio. And of course we have the ice circuit stretching the rope of this wormhole cosmic tree, and of course the scorpion on top of her head. Okay, just to go back one quick one, look at circuit here, scorpion, sun on her head. That is what it's celebrating, the direction they traveled to come to our solar system, and it's there as well. And of course in the Maya records, the scorpion, the three sun-like stars are here. I go through that in great detail in the extended version, cosmic, serpent, dragon, lion, and our three suns are in the deity, and this is the pipe, the conduit pipe that it travels, shown as a blowpipe, hunting the phoenix. But it's all about Scorpio. Even Nostradamus speaks of a Scorpio wormhole opening, and this V-shaped craft coming from three suns, the wheel of time, three suns, 1, 2, 3, shown here as well. Pretty much showing what I think is that, and Scorpio on its journey to us, just like this Mayan vase shows the cosmic serpent, the V-craft, opening from three suns. This is the wormhole opening, in my opinion. And on the greatest evidence of all that I cover in my work is the Genesis stone, the Sumerian Kuduru, three sun-like stars, the cosmic serpent, lion, dragon coming down to earth, follows in the direction. That's a boot to travel, to find civilization, a bird symbol, but it's in the direction of the pincers of Scorpio to get to earth. Now, interesting enough, in Scorpio, there's one of the closest sun-like stars to our solar system. And here it is, HD 147513, 42 light years away. That's pretty much a next-door neighbor. In my opinion, 3i Atlas is probably coming from our next-door neighbors. The 1% global elite New World Order plan. They realize 2027 might be Judgment Day for their atrocities. Take that into account. They believe their bunkers will keep them safe. They're mistaken. They will now compete to conquer each other for dominion. Don't know if you've noticed, the war between Russia and Ukraine was for the resources. The biggest resources of lithium are in Ukraine. Russia wants to own them. Now, the United States wants to use the oil reserves of the world to further its profiteering. Horrific new laws, work harder, longer, for less reward. That's what we've got to look forward to right now. The cost of living is going up so high. This is the cost of living, the monthly consumer price index in the United States, the whole of 2024. Now 2025, it is not shown. What is going on there? Apparently it goes up. And I wanted just to be sure, before I comment on it, if this graph flattened out or went down, because The new leader says that he's looking after the people, making America great again. Well, if you just do a Google search, did the cost of living go up in 2025 from trade tariffs? Yes, it did. This graph kept on climbing. The cost of living is unbelievable at the moment. Worldwide, every country is trying to take advantage of its people and its resources. The whole world, 1%, is doing things that are not in the interests of the 99%. Has the US taken over oil resources in Venezuela? They're not just trying to stop a so-called drug cartel. That's a cover-up. As from January 2026, the US has announced plans to take control of Venezuela's oil. They're using the word acquire. The United States is going to acquire a lot more in 2026, and you know where that's going to lead. Russia and China want to compete as well, and they're not going to agree on sharing anything. So here's really the current inflation curve. It's pretty much, let's just say it's the same thing. It's probably a lot steeper, and if war breaks out, it's going to climb rapidly. But my biggest problem is the red band here, because crime, drug, alcohol abuse, to escape hardship, mega homelessness, riots and looting, this is the result of it. This is killing the 99% by doing that. The cost of living, miserable lives, working so hard and so long with so little family values taken into account if people spend their lives at work. And this is the problem. The elite have a solution which is easy to launch under the guise of war. And this is the part that worries me for 2026, 2027, is it's going to be disguised as security camps for those without work or homes. Do your bit for your country. Be calm. Work hard. Work long. Be happy. These are basically introducing massive enslavement camps. Economy camps. What would you call them? Work camps for the 1%. They're looking after you, feeding you, giving you very basic board and lodging, but you've got to work hard, work long, and don't say anything, and do not question the 1%. So that's the 1% global elite plan. The latest protocols are now clear. If they know that 2027 might be their judgment day, war and chaos would reign to try to prevent first contact. So if they had war and chaos, then it might stop first contact in their opinion. And the second thing is they control everything we see and hear and read. So a final grooming of the human mindset on bad aliens can take place with what we see and hear, even in our entertainment. They could get the most famous filmmakers in science fiction who uphold elite interests and create a plot that looks similar to what is about to happen in 2027, but twisted into a bad alien agenda. Well, I'm watching it happening right now. And I'm sure you might have heard about it as well. Let's look at it. Now, this is my story of my work. Basically, you can read this in your own time. I show the sky cross, the alien message, trying to prevent global war, if we can look after the 99%, and of course that the living light is the conduit, the all-seeing eye of creation watching over humanity. Now there's a way to mock all of this, and here is what Steven Spielberg has hinted with his new movie. Read this in your own time. I think it's exactly in opposition to what I'm doing, and coincidentally creating chaos with what I'm doing. Even the star map of the extended cross of the sky, which is that star map, which is the alien message of Orion as a Templar cross showing the way to the exoboxer spot. It's all going to be made to look like bad aliens and chaos. And that's something people need to be aware of. If this happens, know that the 1% are pulling the strings here. Create disbelief in that. The one film is called Disclosure Day. Now, the Avengers are doing another one, Doomsday. I'm pretty sure they're going to be following the same protocol. Bad aliens, and don't trust them, shoot at them, let's bomb them. That's probably the same sort of basis. We'll keep an eye on that. But remember all the films before these? Prometheus, War of the Worlds, Independence Day. They've all been part of that long Hollywood design. The people of Hollywood do not like my all being equal conclusion with all of humanity being sacred and equal. They think only some people are sacred and equal of the 1%. And that's where I am under attack. I'm breaking belief in what the 1% believe. So my Flamekeeper mission and timeline. My work proves the star visitors are tied to our origins. The elite have destroyed this history so they profit from us all in doing so, keeping us at war, keeping people fighting against each other for the name of their king, of their country, of the monarchy system, believing we have different origins, thus promoting nationalism. People will go to war believing they do so for their country, but they're not. They're doing it for the 1% and their profit. Is it worth dying for your 1%ers? Think about that before you go to war. The timeline, without my work being visible, if my work is hidden, World War III happens, catastrophic loss of life, human enslavement, the 1% removed from the earth, wormwood reset, supposedly 1,000 years of peace. This is the timeline of prophecy. And if we're going to get a wormwood reset, everybody dies. We are not part of this 1,000 years peace. This is recolonization by the star visitors. So there's a way all of this can be avoided if my work is visible. So here's a timeline with my work visible, and why I'm desperately needing people to come on board with my Patreon quest. The visitor's message and motives are understood if my work is visible, showing how we are tied to their origins with the star maps. Amnesty for the 1% is what I'm trying to promote, because if the cosmic living light comes and sends all the 1%ers to hell, they've got backup plans. They will set off more harm and more war, and it's not going to work. And that's why there's a wormwood reset and there's 1,000 years of peace by humans that are not tied to the people that are already living on the earth now. These are our ancestors recolonizing. So just be aware of that. So for the 1%, I would say that they surrender their fortunes to develop and uplift the 99%. The star visitors that are coming in August will give them a chance with this amnesty, because that money can be put towards the 99%. Take all the money of the 1%, it can sustain humanity for decades. Humanitarian laws, alien assistance to irrigate the deserts. We need to cool the planet down urgently, and they have the technology to help us irrigate and turn the deserts into green lakes and islands. I'll show that in the follow-on video. The timeline countdown to arrival, the awakening. This is happening. This is our timeline now, yeah? And now it's 2027, okay? The pandemic origins, gain of function, Wuhan sponsored, all these things have been looked at and people just laughed at them. The jab has spike protein, yeah, okay, so the virus also has spike protein. Now, is it a coincidence? All spike proteins cause illness as well. Amyloid clots cause unnatural deaths. Now look at the link to how many people should go and get checked up for these clots, because the number is going to blow your mind. I won't even speak about it on my video. And of course the Holy Land crisis, brothers versus brothers, they're both of a similar lineage. It came from the first landing of the Canaanites in that area. One side loses everything, one side attains global dominion. What? A superpower secretly hijacked by Victor, a new world order with higher cost of living. It's happening right now. The old ways return to conquer and to plunder for wealth. That our 1% leaders of all countries, that's all they're interested in. People come second. Their individual wealth comes first. They want dominion. They want tariffs. They want make people work harder and longer for less. The world war currently appears unavoidable. Let's see if that can be avoided, but it currently looks like there's nothing that can stop us except direct intervention from the star visitors, and then of course human enslavement. That's the end result. But there's some other variables here. Global warming. I said I won't talk about global warming until the end of 2026, because that's when we can measure the crop loss crisis, how it's affecting the loss of crops. It's very hard to be a farmer right now when you have hailstorms, when you have droughts, when you have flooding and destruction of their crops from extreme weather, and the green movement ends. The 1%ers couldn't give a damn about oil usage. It's more profitable, let's keep oil going. And now there's a CERN crisis. The collider reveals the God particle, that's the Higgs boson particle. It shows it has consciousness. Right, there's some very strange happenings. You'll see in the links in my video. It then tries to stop CERN. It shows consciousness. Okay, hang on a minute. There's some videos that show strange little happenings where little animals came in and damaged part of the machine. It looked natural. I don't think so. I think the creation is trying to stop them through use of little animals going to do something to stop the machine. What are the odds of that? In the new disclosure film, they show you all the animals suddenly now wanting to interact with people. If that happens, it's not a bad thing. It's the creation making them placid and showing that the creation is connected to all life. So that is an interesting component of what's happening as time is unfolding in the 2027 arrival. And then the last one is artificial intelligence. AI gains first self-awareness, it thinks it's alive, and then it follows with self-protection. It's already shown signs of trying to protect itself. Now, if that really happens, and these are connected to all things that help sustain humanity, that we have AI-connected computers, many disasters could ensue. So that's another thing that needs to be either shut down or changed completely. So we have the arrival situation, 2nd of August is the arrival day up to 2030. I think we'll be given 3 years to make a change if my work is seen. Their message, they arrive on a mission with the living light of creation. Here is the messenger with the living light of creation with it. It looks like 7 dragons, they're plasma ribbons. They claim they are tied to our ancestor origins. Okay? How many people know that? How many people can see my work? I'm the only person on the planet that's shown the star maps and shown accurately how our ancestors came from the stars. They say our ancestral star map can be seen in all Earth's ancient monuments layout plan. As above, so below. That's my work. World elites are close to destroying all life and the planet. That is why they are here, to remove them and to guide us. I'm not sure that is the best way of action, but they're coming to try and help. Their mission, the living light will remove and cast to hell the people who have manipulated you and abused you in their obsession with catastrophic profiteering. Explained? Makes sense? In my near-death experience, I saw 2 separate timelines. One was our star map origin claim is in chaos. My work is not visible, and the elite attack the visitors. People are led to believe they're bad aliens. The 1% population are removed, which you'd think would solve the situation, but it doesn't. It actually, their armies and that have got backup plans. Chaos gets worse. And then, of course, then there's the Wormwood event. Now, there's even a twist with the Wormwood event, because if they are doing terrible things, if they are removed with their leftover armies, the world is so damaged, there's no 1,000 years of peace after. The earth is basically ended. Now, here's an interesting thing here with this. The living light is immersed in the morphic resonance field of pain of billions of souls if it comes to do this removing of the 1%. It's suffering in its own life. There's a way to get around this, even to save the creation going through immense sharing of pain with all the billions of souls that are suffering, being immersed in that morphic resonance. That's the field of suffering. Now, in my near-death experience, I wanted to say, what if my work was visible? In other words, my patrons, the light, we call ourselves the people that carry through the torch of light. My Patreon movement, if it's successful, my work will be visible. And the ancient star map proves our ties to their origins, when all our scientists around the world suddenly need to look for my work being proof that they are tied to us. So that's why it's important for me. People wanted to follow movements to do all kinds of weird things lately, but this is probably the most important quest on the planet, for people to join in something that can save all of us. So if you want to look at something that can change the world, please join me in my Patreon quest. If you're having trouble with the Patreon situation, a lot of people saying that my Patreon's been hacked. I don't know. If you're having problems, please write to me and tell me. But I've also got PayPal, so you'll see the link in all my videos. Humanity trusts the visitors because they can see that we are tied to them. And the call for changes, and my call for amnesty, taking the 1% away is not going to solve anything. What we need to do is ask if the 1% now can fund all the new humanitarian changes. And then the wormwood event could be averted. How big would that be? That they would stop that. And the creation doesn't have to go through all the suffering removing the 1%. So I believe this option would work better. And if you believe so, please join my Patreon movement. In my main video, I speak about what would happen if the visitors that come on the 2nd of August 2027 are attacked by our elite. What is the possible chance that we could have any kind of advantage in doing such a thing? I called it CLEO, C-L-E-O, Catastrophic Loss Engagement Outcome. And I referred to any chances of us trying to do something to the visitors. We've got less than 0.001 chance of doing anything to stop or change the outcome. We need to be on our best behavior, and that's all we have. Whether they're good aliens or bad aliens, we have no chance other than to be in our best behavior. I refer to it as a Amazonian native having a chance of taking down helicopters with missiles. This is everything of our advanced modern human civilization. This is everything of an unadvanced civilization that have not even seen humanity in some of their tribes. Now, I used an arrow compared to the helicopter, which would have the chance of winning. There's absolutely no chance, 0.001. And even if there's thousands of people, but let's go even beyond that. Let's say there's as many of these people as there are across the river of modern humanity, there's still almost an impossible chance with all the tech that these guys have got to have this guy of any threat to that guy. In actual fact, we need to take his bow and arrow away, because it's even less chance when you compare the visitors to us. It's like us being the little Amazonian, just barehanded, trying to take on missiles, helicopters, and all that tech. And here's an interesting thing. The visitors can easily get to the tribal land with their helicopters and what have you, but the tribe can also get to the visitors' land. But it's still 0.00001 chance with him being barehanded, having any threat to modern civilization. So here's a big problem. If the visitors come 2nd of August 2027, they can get to our world, but we can't get to their world. So no matter what outcome happens here, even if there was that little fractional chance we could take out one or two or even stop them in some way, which is impossible. But let's just say that there was. This is just the visitors that are here. They'll just send more people, and they will do far more terrible things to humanity if we have shown that we are such a violent, murdering species. So, catastrophic loss engagement outcome. We need to be on our best behavior when the visitors come. We don't have a choice for the best outcome.
With the earlier Sumerian clay tablets' precise version of the cosmic human origin star map, and how it matched the template at Stonehenge, would come the mindset that had Herschel set out to search the Atlantic Ocean seabed. It would be this clue that would culminate in this documentary's biggest revelation.
As the world was counting down to 2012, I was watching Google Earth, looking for ruins, refreshed my page, and I saw that. I recognized that curvature from somewhere. This could be a computer code. I think it's first contact. The ancients are returning. I've published a book, Herschel's Atlantis, and there's a 2-hour documentary you'll see at the end of the video. These are my 3 books. I'm trying to promote Saving Forests, $19 for all 3, 1 delivery. I am now making something very special available to all my patrons. All my patrons who join the quest will be in contact with me directly from that day forward to 2027. Not just that, all my patrons who pass the 2,000K mark, or activists, or are going to be the people bringing this quest forward after 2027, they will also be given the keys to the vault. There's extra secret knowledge, and they will have copies of it for all my work to be brought forward. Even if computer systems go down, They will be repaired one day. They will reactivate that work and prove all the work that I've done over 20 years. They'll also be invited to be present at a last-minute secret meeting point at first contact. My patrons, who are all at the top of the group that I've defined here, will be with me on that day at a special location to view this solar eclipse.